Most of us don't know what's going on inside our brain. Brain scientists have discovered a lot of things about our brain, about which all of us should know. For example, how we learn things, how sleep and stress affect our mind, why multitasking is a myth, why we forgot anything so quickly, why forgetting is easy, and why remembering is difficult. Do the brains of male and female work differently? There are many such things that scientists have discovered for us, about which we all should know, so that we can control our brain as much as we can. Look, the root of all problems in our life is the mindset we have, i.e., the way our brain thinks, and if you want to end these problems, then you'd have to chenge the way you think. And it is only possible when we will understand the important rules of our brain, and hence today we will talk about a wonderful book by John Medina, called The Brain Rules. John Medina is a molecular biologist who wrote this book after doing a lot of research on the human brain. And in this book only, the author has mentioned the brain's 12 rules, by following which, we can take our performance of studying, learning and doing work to next level, and we can make all those things in our daily life easy which are difficult for us. So let's talk about those brain rules. So first rule that comes here is exercise. Exercise increases our brain power. Scientists researched two groups who had complementary lifestyle. Group A consisted those who were physically active and exercised daily. And Group B consisted of those who were neither physically active nor exercise. And upon research, the researchers found out that the brain power of Group of people was more than those of Group B. And Dr. John Medina says that our brain was made with respect to a body, which used to walk 20 kilometers daily before thousands of years. That's why we can perform better when we do exercise. And this happens so because when we exercise, oxygen reaches our brain, through which, our brain keeps getting oxygen and glucose. And all toxic electrons in our brain go away. Next rule is survival. This rule states that it took millions of years for man to get this powerful brain. Our brain has learned to survive, otherwise it was possible that you wouldn't have been able to see this video. No matter how poor a man is, he always manages to survive. Human's brain is a survival tool which has evolved with time. It is the evolution of brain that has made us capable of understanding feelings of people, communicating and doing other works. If we didn't understand people, society wouldn't have formed. And we wouldn't never been able to rise above animals. Author says that the reason behind humans staying alive was that they learned to cooperate with others. If someone doesn't feel safe with their teacher or boss, then that person cannot perform well in their study or work. That's why there should be a culture to encourage each other, in classroom and at work. Understanding each other is the best way to live. The reason behind us surviving is this only, that with time, we developed the strongest brain. And that's why the author says that it is the strongest brains that survive, not the strongest bodies. Rule number 3 says that every brain is wired differently. Look, there are more than 8 billion people in the world. And the brain of every person works in different ways, meaning that you won't even find two people in this world whose brain work completely same as each other. We're told many times in our schools that we all have same brains. It's just a matter of efforts. Some work harder, while some work less. This fact is completely wrong. The way your brain collects and stores information, no other brain in the world does it in that way. Different parts of our brain have developed differently in different people, and this very truth is ignored by our education system. Let's understand this with an example. Assume that there are 20 students in the 5th grade of a school. Now each child different from the other. One's tall, one's fat, one's black, one's white. Everyone is different and unique. Just like that, every child's brain too is different. Every child is aged 9 to 10 years, but all their brains have developed differently. One's brain has developed less, while that of other has developed more. One's brain is developed more in some areas, while someone else's brain is weak in some areas. Someone's brain is strong in some areas, while weak in others. But what is expected from the child that his brain should be strong in whatever we tell, whatever we tech, which is no way possible. Neither was it possible in the past, nor in present, and nor will it be possible in the future. Next rule says that don't pay attention on boring things. We humans don't pay attention to boring things. We pay attention to only those things which interest us, or to which some emotion of us is attached. This rule says that our brain is not made for multitasking. We can do only one task at a time. You must have observed sometimes that if someone is studying and has their phone with them, then they'll study too, check everything too, WhatsApp, Facebook, scroll Instagram too, and that's why their result too will be affected. You might think that you can do two things at a time, but actually, this doesn't happen. Actually, we leave one of the tasks and switch to the other one, so here our focus shifts, and not that we do two things at a time. and when the focus shifts from one thing to the other, then our main job get left behind, and in such cases, we leave the boring task and focus on something which we shouldn't. So that's why we can do only one thing at a time, and that's why, make sure that you never keep other things around. When you do one thing, then you focus completely on it. Don't think that I can do that. No, you can. But you can do only one thing at a time. Otherwise you should not be able to do both the things. Next rule is, repeat to remember. If you tend to forget things, this rule is for you. According to a research, your brain can remember anything for just 30 seconds. And if you want to increase this span of 30 seconds, then you'll have to repeat that thing time and again. Only then will your brain be able to remember that thing for a long time, and when it comes a topic, incident or a person, we can remember them for years. But if there's some number or some formula or a date of any kind, then to remember it, we'll have to keep repeating it, again and again. Because if we don't repeat it just after 30 seconds, it'd be difficult to remember it. So if you a habit forgetting, then you too repeat those things, again and again, so that your brain remembers that thing in the long term. Next rule says that, sleep well, think well. You must have heard many a times that sleeping for too long is a sign of laziness. But in this rule, it is said that having quality sleep is an important part of our lives. Less sleep means we have less attention span, and this also affects our memory negatively. A research say that the scientists of NASA takes a power nap of 26 minutes, due to which their performance improves by as much as 34%. So if you too feel tired on an afternoon, then you too take a power nap. And you'll see that your creativity and productivity will both increase through this. Next rule says that stressed brain don't learn the same way. Taking a lot of stress and always worrying about something damages both our brain and our learning ability. Our brain isn't made to bear long-term stress. And that's why our brain can bear any kind of stress for maximum 30 seconds without any problem. But at the same time, if we take long-term stress, i.e., stress for more than 30 seconds, then it impacts our learning ability a lot. And not just learning ability, but our immune system, sleep quality, and overall body of ours is impacted. The performance of our brain lessens drastically in stress. Because when we are stressed, two hormones are released in our body, cortisol and adrenal. And adrenal damages cells in our brain, and cause of this we can get a heart attack. And that's why don't take stress, and even if you want to take it, take just a little bit of it, not much. Because the stress you take right now, will in coming times, be a big stress for you. Rule number 8 is sensory integration, meaning that the more you involve your senses to learn something new, the quicker and better you'll be able to learn that thing. John says that to learn anything, you shouldn't be dependent on just one sense. For example, if you're reading something, and want that you remember it for a long term, then while reading use some kind of perfume near you, or eat a chocolate of a particular flavor, and whenever you want to remember what you had read, then smell that perfume again. Or eat that chocolate again. You'll remember that thing. Do it practically, and tell me whether it works or not. Rule number 9 is a vision. As opposed to info that we read or listen, our brain can remember things that it has seen quickly. Because our brain thinks in pictures and not in words. While reading a biography, you might not remember that, which situation you read on which page. But if you saw a movie of the same biography, then you'll remember its scenes properly. Because our brain thinks in images. And that's why whenever you read any topic, to visualize it, or at least keep some topic related to it in your mind, so that you can remember the topic that you've read in the long term. Next rule is gender. This rule states that the brain of a man and female is completely different. Mental health professionals have been saying for years that the brain of males and females process information in a different manner. Men are more aggressive, while women take more stress. Men are victims of drugs and alcohol addiction, while women are always worried, due to their weight increasing. And 2 out of 1 women are depressed more than men. Rule number 11 is exploration. We humans are naturally designed to explore things around us. That's why when we give an object to a child, it sees it, smells it, eats it, and tries to explore it in almost every way possible. Our human brain had grown this much due to this habit of exploring. Last rule says that music can make our brain smarted. Dr. John's wife has been a classical musical composer, and by observing many musicians like her, and studying them, he has concluded that our taste in music represent our personality, and music makes our skills and memory sharper. So listening to or composing music increase our reading, math and emotional intelligence skills, and listening to music can even change our mood. So these were the brain's 12 rules. Let's summarize again. Exercise. survival. Every brain is wired differently. We don't pay attention to boring things. Repeat to remember. Sleep well, think well. Stressed brain don't learn same way. Sensory integration, vision, gender, exploration, and the last was music can make our brain smarter. I hope you would have found this video helpful. To watch more such videos, do subscribe and press the bell icon. We'll meet again in the next video.